In August 2001, an Enron vice president named Sherron Watkins sat down and wrote a 7-page memo to her CEO, warning the company would implode in a wave of accounting scandals. Buried in that memo was a single reference to a set of partnerships called LJM. 3 letters almost no one outside Enron's executive floor had ever heard. Ken Lay read it. He filed it away. So why, 3 months before 20,000 employees watched their retirement savings evaporate, did nobody outside that room ever hear this memo existed? To the rest of the world, Enron wasn't a mystery, it was the future. Fortune magazine named it America's most innovative company, 6 years running. The stock traded above $90 a share. Analysts called it a new kind of business, one that didn't just move energy, it moved risk, contracts, ideas, pure genius, they said, dressed in Houston glass and steel. Employees were told to put their 401(k)s into company stock because Enron simply didn't lose. The truth started forming years earlier, behind a door most employees never saw open. In 1993, Enron began pushing something called mark-to-market accounting, booking projected future profits from long-term deals as if they'd already been earned today in cash. That alone let Enron report earnings that existed mostly on paper. Then in 1999, CFO Andrew Fastow proposed something bolder: private partnerships, LJM1 and LJM2, built to buy Enron's bad assets off its own books. He would personally run them. The board didn't just approve it. On June 28, 1999, they voted unanimously to waive the company's own code of ethics so their sitting CFO could sit on both sides of the table at once. That waiver is the crack everything else poured through. With LJM in place, Enron could quietly offload underperforming assets and debt into entities Fastow controlled, keeping them off the parent company's balance sheet entirely. Arthur Andersen, the accounting firm paid millions a year to audit Enron, signed off on it. Wall Street analysts, fed the numbers Enron chose to show them, kept issuing buy ratings. Nobody in a position to stop it asked the obvious question: if these partnerships were truly independent, why did Enron's own CFO stand to personally profit every single time? He did. Fastow pulled in over $30 million in fees and returns from deals structured to look like arm's-length transactions, but were, in practice, Enron paying itself to make its own numbers look better. And this is the part that still doesn't make it into most retellings. The deception wasn't a rogue accountant hiding a spreadsheet. It was ratified in writing by a board of directors who understood exactly what they were signing. By the time it collapsed in December 2001, the real scale came into focus. Enron had used more than 3,000 off-balance sheet entities to hide over $30 billion in debt. Shareholder equity had been overstated by more than $1 billion. And in the year before the collapse, while employees were barred from selling their frozen 401(k) stock, top executives quietly sold over $1 billion combined. Lay alone cashed out more than $70 million. 20,000 employees lost their jobs. Many lost their entire retirement in a single week. Watkins's memo, the one that named LJM months before the public ever heard the word, sat in a drawer the whole time. Here's the twist most people miss. Jeffrey Skilling, the man who championed mark-to-market accounting and built the culture that rewarded hiding losses, resigned suddenly in August 2001, 4 months before the collapse, and sold nearly $60 million in stock on his way out the door. The man who built the machine got out early, cashed in, and let everyone else ride it into the ground. And accountability never really landed the way you'd expect. Skilling was sentenced to 24 years and served 12 before an early release in 2019. Fastow, the architect of LJM itself, cooperated with prosecutors and served just 6 years, later reinventing himself as a paid speaker on corporate ethics. Ken Lay was convicted on all counts in 2006, then died 6 weeks later before sentencing, and under a legal doctrine called abatement, his conviction was wiped from the record entirely. Legally, Kenneth Lay was never guilty of anything. The board members who voted to waive the ethics code faced a shareholder settlement paid almost entirely by insurance, not their own pockets. Sarbanes-Oxley followed. New rules, new audits, new promises. This could never happen again. But mark-to-market accounting is still legal. Off-balance sheet financing is still legal. The tools Fasto used didn't disappear. They got renamed, refined, and folded back into standard corporate finance. The memo that could have stopped it sat unread by the public for months, while the people who had it kept selling. So the real question isn't what happened to Enron. It's how many companies right now have their own Sherron Watkins memo sitting in a drawer somewhere, and whether anyone's going to open it before it's too late.